paid that price for you. And notice as you keep going that God set him up as a public display. God displayed him publicly. Jesus is the atoning sacrifice. Now, how are the benefits of Jesus' death applied to you personally? The answer comes right here in verse 25. The answer is by your faith in His blood. That is how you personally come into contact with the blood of Christ, by your faith in its working power. Listen, who actually accomplishes your salvation for you? Not you. Christ. It is your belief or trust or dependence on that saves you. And specifically here, we're focused on His death on the cross. Your faith is your trust in His work for you. And that is the basis for your forgiveness. And so God designed the cross so that Jesus would be at the center of redemptive history. God forgave sinners in the Old Testament time because He knew Jesus would pay the penalty for sin, and He forgives sinners today because Jesus paid the penalty. And really the message here is God always does what's right. The cross actually defends the charge that God excuses sin. God will never tolerate or overlook sin. God always does what's right. Every sin that has ever been committed will be paid for. This is important when we talk about grace, because a lot of people take grace and say, well, if you teach on grace and you don't care about works or obedience, you're just saying we can live however we want to live and sin doesn't matter. And here's my answer to that. Every sin that's ever been committed will be paid for. There's no sin that's ever gone unpunished. You get to make the choice. Personally, you can choose to do this all on your own and not depend on Christ for salvation, and you get to pay for those sins. Or you can say, I'm going to depend on Jesus and His action on the cross, and I'll let Him take the punishment. Now let me ask you, which are you going to choose? What is grace? Grace is the fact that He took the punishment that we deserved. He bore that, not us. And that is why we read here that the cross demonstrates the grace of God.